This year, of course, we have seen the introduction of the black card. Now, through the league, it seems to have got a very positive reaction. Is it working? And how do you think it's going to play out in the Championship?
Well, it's been a huge success so far in the National League. I mean, the scoring returns in the National League were very, very, very high. Now, so why were they very, very high? The problem was that it's very much weighted in favour of the attacker who runs at the defence. The defender is low to tackle because there's a danger of a black card. So what's going to happen? It's been very successful. Has it been consistently applied? Not really, because I think a lot of black card offences that I've seen, they give yellow cards for it. It's been an easy option. For the Championship, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I think this word deliberate is a big interpretation. It's really open to is it accidental, is it deliberate? And rest assured now that there are coaches out there all over the country who are pouring through DVDs and looking for, right, how can we tackle now without conceding a black card, without giving away? And I think, like in rugby, where there's always a loophole. In rugby, they have the choke tackle. I can see teams surrounding guys and maybe deliberately fouling them, but holding them up in the tackle. So it's been a great success. As a purist and as a forward, I would have to welcome it. At the same time, I can agree with the people who start to see problems with the game, because it's been like basketball. It's like a Gaelic football version of basketball, because one team gets possession, they go up and score. The other team gets possession and they go back and score. And it's been a little bit what I've seen wrong with. It's been very high scoring, very open football and really lovely football. At the same time, defending has been very, very poor. Physicality hasn't been there at all. Now, part and parcel of Gaelic football is physicality, and it was absent in the league.
But then, having said that, the league is always different to the Championship. So do you think you're going to see a different kind of a scenario in the Championship, and how might the black card then fare out?
Well, it'll be very interesting, because I looked at the All-Ireland Club final, and Eddie Kinsella, after 4 minutes, sent off Richie Feeney. Quite correctly, a deliberate third-man tackle on an opponent. Would I see that happening in an All-Ireland final or a semi-final? I don't think so. I think in the early stages the black card will start to be implied a lot. I think as the Championship goes along, I think like we saw during the league, the yellow card will be used. I've watched so many club matches, Michael, over the last couple of months, maybe 40, 50 club matches, and referees are simply not using the black card at all.
Colm, there's been a lot of debate over the last couple of years about the style of football, the modern style of football. And I just want to get your thoughts about that, and also whether you think the black card has been a good idea.
Well, during the league, Michael, I think the black card has shown that scores have gone up, and there has been less cynical play. That's definitely true. I don't always view football playing at a very fast pace and very high score as necessarily all good things. I think good defensive play, tight marking, all those traditional skills have been lost somewhat from the game. So I would like to see a change back to cornerbacks who mark their men, and that defenders, first of all, be defenders rather than ball players, and stop their forward scoring. So if we ended up with low scoring Championship matches, but yet some of the traditional skills being brought back into it, I'd enjoy that just as much as some of the high scoring games we have at the moment.
The black card has got a fairly good reaction from the league campaign. There's been sort of positive things said about it. But Championship, of course, is different. Do you think there's going to be a different sort of emphasis when the Championship starts and the pace of games goes up?
Well, I think the first couple of games and the way that the referees treat the black card, but is going to tell us what's going to happen later. I think players are going to be afraid to risk getting a black card, so I don't think it's going to be really a factor in the Championship at all.
Let's look at the rules of the game, and particularly the black card, which we saw introduced this year. And it is significant that teams who like to play attacking open football, Dublin, Cork, this has benefited them. Has it been a success? And how will it work out in the Championship?
You know, the stats will say that it has been a success, you know, and if we're measuring the rule changes by the amount of scores that has been got in the league this year, definitely it has been an improvement. Has it improved football overall? It has, particularly attacking football. You know, the art of defending is questionable at the moment, and I think for a lot of players that I have spoken to, and all players, is that there's still an uncertainty there that what is a genuine tackle and what is a genuine effort, and it comes back to the referee's decision and how he interprets that action that you do as a player. So the rule itself definitely has improved. It's a running game now. It's going to suit these players who are athletic, who can run. You cannot, put a check in on anybody. It's great, it's open and it's expansive. So yes, it has been, it has definitely improved football. But at the same time, we've seen fellas get sent off in the league this year, and I would pay money to go in and see the likes of, the big names, the De Brogans, the O'Sheas, the Gooches of this world. I don't want to see them sitting on the line because of innocuous, fairly honest type of challenge, but an innocuous one all the same. I don't want to see them sitting there. I want to see them playing. So I suppose it's up to referees to do their level best to adjudicate it as best they can, but at the same time have a focus on making sure that all the players and all the good players are staying on the field for the end of the game or for the duration of the game.
In terms of the championship, the black card, obviously the intensity in the championship is that much higher. So do you think the black card will then be as effective?
The perception out there is that a black card is for a cynical foul, but a black card is for a cynical pull down. So it is very distinct difference. So I don't think we're going to see a huge amount of black cards in the championship. I think we'll see the same averages we saw in the league. I don't think it will usually impact teams to a huge degree. Players are certainly a lot more aware of it, and it definitely does benefit the inside forward player that he can now take on his man. And we saw the benefits of that throughout the league. A lot more goals where balls are going in, the forward can take on his man one on one. The defender has to be very, very careful of how he tackles the player because it could be the end of his game. However, having said that, I think the experimental period is over. I think teams will go defensive in the championship. I think we have to be logical enough to think that some managers will be coming out against opposition teams that they know they don't have the same strength and depth of the same quality, and the only way to keep themselves in the game will be to go defensive and try and get something out of the game. It's realistic to expect managers to do that, as much as we mightn't like it on the naked eye. That's the way I think a lot of managers will go, and I think the league was a honeymoon period. We will see a return to defensive structures within the championship.